Today I'm going to make a soap mixture using lard and coconut oil, and I'm going to go over some of the ingredients that I have. One, you're going to need 100% lye, and a lot of times you'll try to find a drain cleaner, but it'll contain some other elements in it too. So whatever lye you use, you want to make sure it has that 100% in it. And you can use water, but when you do so, you want to make sure that you are adding the lye to the water. And I'll go over my percentages here in a bit. I've actually made tea, and so I'm going to be adding my lye to my tea. And you need to have a digital scale that's going to help you measure everything out, and I do everything in ounces. You want to have, you can do it with a spoon, I guess, or a rubber spatula, but it does help if you have an electric mixer like this. It speeds up the process so much more. You want to have some rubber gloves because lye is very caustic, and you will you could possibly get some serious burns. I also have a mold that I'm going to be using. I bought this offline, I think. But anyways, and I'll line that later. But I'm going to show you real quick. In this particular recipe, I'm going to be using 19 ounces of lard and 1 ounce of the coconut oil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to put, oh, my little son is up. I'm going to put my container on there. So what I need to do now is zero that out. There you go. And then, like I said, I'm going to add 19 ounces of my lard, and then I'll be adding 1 ounce of coconut. And then I'm going to need to heat that up as well so it is liquid. Actually, I can't do that with one hand. So what I'll do is I will get everything measured out, like 19 ounces of the lard, 1 ounce of the coconut oil, heat that until it's liquid, and I'll meet you back. Alright, I'm going to simulate here what you would do for your live water. Like I said before, you're going to put your container on there, and it's going to read whatever the weight of your container is, but that's not what you're actually weighing. You want to zero that out. Once it zeroes, this recipe contains 7.6 ounces of water. Now you can just take regular water from the tap, and that's perfectly fine. If you wanted to make a tea like I've done, I'll show you here. You can see like the little tea bags. I just took the tea from it, and that's what I used as my water here. And like I said, I put in 7.6 ounces, and then you always want to add your lye to your water. Never your water to your lye. That you could have some serious problems. It's probably also a really good idea to have some baking soda on hand just in case, because the baking soda neutralizes the lye. And for this recipe, like I said, we had 7.6 ounces of water, or in our case, I used tea. And for the lye, you're going to pour in 2.72 ounces of the lye. And so I would suggest having your liquid cool. If you're going to make tea like I did, let the tea cool at least to room temperature. Now when you add this lye, it's going to be very, very hot. And I'll show you what my water actually does look like. It's going to get extremely hot. Alright, sorry about that. My phone had died here. I was actually going to show you what my lye water looked like. You can see it's fairly dark. That's my tea that I've added the lye to the tea. And it has cooled down, and that's because I put it into a ice bath. So it's pretty cool. It's cool to the touch anyways. But I'll show you my oil here. This is the oil, and it has melted down, so it's nice and liquefied. And you want to make sure that you have it in a container that's going to be able to hold both. So this one here is the oil that I'm going to use. It's both the coconut oil and the lard, and it will also be able to hold the lye water as well. You can see I have my mold here in the back, and I've just lined that. I've greased it with some of the lard, and I've also put a paper along that, because here recently I've had some issues with it sticking. I've got one glove on. I've got my electric mixer here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the thermometer here. I'm going to put that away. I've also brought out some other cute little things, and I'll show you that here in a second. But once you add this lye to the oil, you want to work fairly quickly, because what you're doing in essence, when you put that oil into the, the lye into the oil, it's going to saponify, and then you're making soap from that point on. Some of the additives that you can add in will it quickens up the process, and some of the oils that you use, this one here is just a fragrance oil, it's not an essential oil, but some of the things that you can put into it will, like I said, cause it to advance faster than what you are ready for. But like I said, I've brought some little fun things, and I wanted to show that as well. I'm not going to be using this, but I wanted to show it. And if you were going to use it, you would want to have it on hand. Like I said, once you get that lye water into here, it really doesn't take long at all. So this here is some soaps that I have put into molds, before. These are just little butterflies here. I have some other ones as well that I've made previously. Let's see, what else could you use? You could use some glitter, and I think I will this time. This one is cranberry chutney, and I've got some colorants that I will be adding. So let's go ahead and get this started. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour my lye water into my oils here. I'm going to do so slowly. And whatever utensils that you use to make this, I make it pretty frequently, or I did. You don't want to use those utensils for anything else again, which is why you see the plastic containers. But I also have a wooden spoon. I also have a rubber spatula, and I don't use that for anything else. So I'm going to put the electric mixer in here, and I want to get out all the air before I just turn it over. Okay, and I'm going to mix it slowly here. You don't want to splash this. Because this is very caustic, you can cause some serious burns, so please be careful. Right now I'm just mixing it through, and then I'll turn it on. And the consistency you want to get to is called trace, and it starts to look kind of like a pudding. So I'm going to start here. Okay, I've continued mixing, but we're still not at trace yet, and that's fine. I actually wanted to show, like I said, some of the additives that you can put in will quicken it will advance it faster than what you were ready for. So you see it's a little bit thicker. I've added some colorant to it, and I wanted to note that the colorants that I have added here, these are meant for soaps and candles. So I don't know what actually happens if you were just to put in your food dyes, but I wouldn't suggest doing that. You may just ruin an entire batch. So like I said, I've bought mine in a craft store. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my scented oil here. This is just a fragrance oil, it's not an essential oil. But even these sometimes can have an adverse effect on here. And I'm going to actually add the entire contents. I can add, what was it? Was it 1/4 of an ounce? Is what the recipe called for. I'm going to add the entire thing. Like this is an oil as well, so know that. You can go to, I think it's Soap Calculator, or you can Google it, of course, and you can find a lot of recipes. You can make your own recipe if you want to. That's fine too. I'm going to take that glitter that I had. And I have found, if you're worried that you're going to come out of the shower glittery, I have never added so much glitter that I've come out glittery. So I'm going to be very giving with this glitter here. I'm going to keep some in reserve here, so when I get done I can sprinkle some across the top. It's kind of pretty. I'm just going to stir this with the stick mixer. I'm going to turn it on again. Alright, I'm still mixing here. Never in my life have I ever had a soap take so long to get to trace. And you're probably wondering, like, well, how am I going to know when it gets to trace? And you can see here, trace is when it leaves a trace. See how pull it up? I want it just a little bit thicker than that. So we're almost there. I'm going to keep mixing. My little electric stick mixer here is almost hot, but I'll be right back. Alright, now we've hit about the consistency that we were looking for. You're going to see me. Let me give it a mix here. See that? See how it looks kind of like pudding there? I'm going to lift that out and you can see it holds the shape. It maintains, you know, the shape. Let me pull it across. That was one of the hardest things for me to understand when I first started doing soap, was what trace actually is. But it's still liquidy enough that I'm going to be able to pour it into my mold there. Okay, well, I've poured it in. I've smoothed it out with my spatula. I've tapped hopefully all the bubbles out. I mean, you won't know until you go to cut into it. And remember that glitter that I was using? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly put some across the top. I think it makes a nice little finish to your soaps. Now you don't want to pour it, and it really doesn't take a whole lot. And once you do put, in fact, see, you can see right there I've got a little, it's too concentrated in that area, and I wish I wouldn't have done that. It's hard to do. Like I said, I've never stepped out of the shower and been glittery. So I'm just lightly tapping what's left on the bag into my soap. And actually my soap is a little bit more liquid than what I actually like it to be. I actually like it to be a little thicker. This just took forever. I don't even know what was going on. But like I said, you could add little things to it. I found some, I think this is buttercream scent, and that would be really cute. You know, like I said, it's kind of a caramel color, and it's cranberry. This is, what is it? Buttercream. That would be cute. You know, little butterflies. You know, you could set it across the top there. If you knew how to decorate cakes, you could put it into a bag and pipe something, you know, along the edges. That's really cute as well. I have some alcohol in a spray bottle here, and I know in Melt and Pour you spray your soaps. I'm just going to spray just a little bit here, and the reason I'm doing this is some of my soaps have been coming out with an ash, and some of them do. I've seen other people that have done this. I've read books on how to do it, and sometimes they just come out with an ash. Here's a soap that I've just recently done. This is a coffee soap, and it smells freaking wonderful. I'm not even gonna lie. It smells like brownies or cocoa, but it has an ash across the top of it. See that lighter color there? It's called an ash, and you can see the sprinkles here. That's coffee. In fact, you can add a lot of stuff to your soaps. You can add exfoliants. You could put oatmeal into it, put it into a food processor, ground it up really fine. I will say, if you're going to use a glitter like I've done, make sure that you use a, well, I don't even know what is it called, like a makeup grade, cosmetic safe. Because if not, if you use a glitter that you buy out of Walmart, you will be able to feel it, and it's a little bit more than exfoliating. It can actually cut you. But you can see the little granules in my bar. That's just coffee that's in there. And hopefully spraying that alcohol across the top will cut down on the ash. I don't know if it will or not. I know it reduces the bubbles in your soap on Melt and Pour. I've never done it on, this is cold process. I've never done it on that. But what I'm going to do now, you'll probably notice that I put it onto a cutting board here. I'm going to wrap it with just some plastic wrap here, because what you want to do, you want to keep it nice and warm, because that helps to continue. It will help it to saponify even further. So once I wrap it in this plastic wrap, I'm going to cover it with a towel, and we'll be right back. Alright, now that I've got it all wrapped up, you want to let this sit undisturbed for about 24 hours, and once it sits, wrapped for 24 hours, you can take it out of the mold. And I've bought a special cutter here. It makes little ridges. I really don't like anybody else in the kitchen with me when I'm making soap. It's too dangerous. There's too many things that could go wrong. So just be safe. Go use your library. That's what I've done. I don't know how many books I've read about making soap. I've been making soap for years. And if you've seen any of my other videos, I do have, I have goggles, I have rubber gloves, I even have masks to put over your face, because the light, it is so dangerous to work with. That isn't something you want to breathe in. You do want to be in a well-ventilated area. All of my equipment that I use, I only use it for soap making. I don't interchange it with, that I would make for food, not any of the containers. Everything that you saw is, I only use that just for soap making purposes, but hopefully that helps you. I do have more like a beginner's video, so if you decide you want to make soap, I would suggest you watch that first, and I will link that in the description box down below.